It is final from Frankfurt, Germany at Deutsche Bank Park. Chiefs beat the Dolphins 21-14. They cover the short number as closing underdogs in some cases, and the under does cash quite easily at 50 or 51.5. Miami had an opportunity late to try to tie the game, but there was a fumbled snap from Tua Tagovailoa on 4th down, and that was it as Kansas City jumped out early. Miami made a late push, but in the end, in the battle of 6-2 teams, Kansas City and the champs are the ones that improved to 7-2. All right, it is over in Europe. Pete Prisco, Brady Quinn, Tommy Tran with you here. So, Brady, take us through what you saw at the end, first and foremost, in that game between the Dolphins and the Chiefs.
Well, you have to go back to the 3rd and 10 play. Pete and I were kind of talking about that. A lot of times when you're getting those pressure looks, like you're going to see from Steve Spagnuolo, you got to be on the same page as your wide receiver. In that case, it looked like Cedric Wilson was taken off running downfield. Tua needed to get the ball up and outside sooner. It was underthrown, but he tried to put it into a spot where you're throwing a lot of times before the receiver really has a chance to look, and you're hoping that the receiver is going to be aware that you've got to get the ball out sooner than normal, and so you've got to look a little bit sooner too. That's the sort of miscommunication that happens from time to time, and in that case, it hurt them. It put them at 4th and 10, and then you see a snap that really is on Tua. He's got to catch that. He's got to at least give themselves a chance on 4th down there. The snap really wasn't that far off. It hit his right hand. You'd like it to be down the center or even to your throwing hand, but in that case, it was still good enough. He should have been able to catch it.
Yeah, see, I didn't see the entire play when
on 3rd down.
Wilson was wide open, like 10 yards behind the defensive back. If he throws it out, it's probably a walk-in touchdown. So we got to go back and look at that. I know you gave the quarterback a pass on that. And
no, I'm just giving you a perspective on what happens.
Wide receiver, but I think if he puts that out there, it's a touchdown. The snap, it was weird, and you talked about it before. Were they trying to get him to jump? You don't know if it was an early snap. It was because it wasn't a bad snap. He's got to catch that.
Sometimes what you do in that scenario when it's 4th down is, given that it's 4th and 10, it's not as penal to you if you have a guy jump. So you use a hard count or some sort of double cadence to see if you can get the defense to jump off sides. And sometimes in doing that, it actually messes up your own mechanics of actually running the play. Sometimes you guys jump, sometimes your center double clutches, kind of getting caught up in the moment, thinking about what the defense is giving them. And sometimes the quarterback is looking out, seeing what the defense is giving him, and he gets caught off guard. I don't know that played a result there. Again, it was still a good enough snap. Tua should have been able to field it, but a lot of times in an effort to get that free play, that's what goes on 4th down like that.
But he did get on it on 4th down. Don't worry about it. He dove on the ball and made sure he recovered it.
He's making a big deal, like even if he would have picked it up, he couldn't have done anything with it.
Well, still, you try
to pick it up. What if he picked it up and got hurt? Then it would be done.
Well, true, but I just think you have to try and pick it up.
I hear you.
You have to try and pick it up.
Got on it. He grabbed it in a way, but this was a defensive game. This comes down to it. I think we also tend to forget Vic Fangio was the head coach there in Denver for a period of time.
Right.
They took away Travis Kelce. It was 3 for 14. Neither team did anything on 3rd down. And I think you give both defenses credit. They held each offense to below 300 yards.
With each quarterback under 200.
And it was a defensive game, defensive battle. There's a lot of, I think, Vic and his history against the Chiefs back when he was the Broncos head coach. Defensively, he's been a guru anyway. And Steve Spagnuolo as well, being able to take away some things that Mike McDaniel wanted to do. So you're going to have these games. This is one that doesn't bother me or concern me about either offense, with the exception of saying this. For the Chiefs, when you take away Travis Kelce, you kind of see what this offense looks like if they can't run the football effectively and if no one's really able to step up on the outside. They were able to make enough plays, but they needed some help. A turnover, a fumble that set them up too, and field position played a role.
And they scored on their opening drive, which means they were on the script.
Right.
Once they got off the script, things just kind of went out the window for them. They didn't do a lot after that opening drive. It's a little discouraging if you're the Chiefs, because this is 2 games in a row now where 3 weeks ago we said, okay, the surrounding cast is supporting cast is getting better, and they're going to help them. Now they're ready to go. And 2 weeks in a row, that hasn't been the case. So that is concerning for them. And the concern for the Miami offense on the other side, though, Tommy, is, again, good team. They played Buffalo on the road. The offense wasn't good. They played the Eagles on the road. The offense wasn't good. They played the Chiefs, and the offense wasn't good. So there's concern about this offense against good teams.
It's like you read my mind, because we're going to wrap up this conversation. And on paper, this was supposed to be the best game played in Europe because of the matchup and the records for both teams. But Brady, I'll finish with what Pete said, because I think the storylines macro for both teams is that Dolphins on the road versus good teams can't win, and right now Kansas City winning with its defense. Did anything from today change your mind or reaffirm any of those two sort of thought processes?
No, look, I think Kansas City is the best team in the NFL. I would pick them versus any team, anywhere, home, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. They've got Patrick Mahomes. They've got Andy Reid. They've got a defense that's played really well so far. Coming into this game, I picked Kansas City, so I fully expected to see it like this. Offensively, it's concerning, but they find ways of winning. And if you think about really the progression or maturation of Patrick Mahomes in this offense is everyone knows how special he is. They're not going to give him any layups. They're going to try to make him go methodically down the field and not get those big plays. They don't have Tyreek Hill there anymore, who Miami does, and they've been the benefactor of a lot of those big plays. So I think you're going to see a lot of defenses force Kansas City to have to win a lower scoring game, and I think Kansas City's adapted. They're fine with that because of how well their defense is playing. For Miami, I think that's really more the questions come in is we think they're a playoff team. Really, what are they, though, once they get in the playoffs? Can they actually go on the road and beat some good teams? It seems like
they need to win the division, try to lock up at least one at home, Pete. You think, given what we've seen with the splits?
That'll help, but again, you're still playing better competition. So.
But again, defensively, they're making strides. That's a good thing. You know, you get Ramsey back, you get Howard back. They're making
First
strides
time this year.
Yeah, that defense played well today. Really, really good football. So I do think the offense will get going. You know, against good teams because there's too much talent on that side of the ball. They've had some injuries on the offensive line that have kind of hurt them at times. They didn't have the right guard today, so again, continuity has been an issue up front. Tua didn't play great today. Let's be real. He didn't play great today, and so, but they're too talented on that side of the ball to be this bad on offense.
And by the way, we're looking at three teams: the Chiefs, Bills, and Eagles, that are probably the three teams you'd throw ahead of them that might be the best in the league, right? There's others we could throw in that mix, but I'd say if you look at Miami as the fifth best team in the league based on your power rankings, I don't know where you had them.
Yeah, roughly in that ballpark.
Okay, but I'd say you've got probably four other teams, and all those teams are competing for Super Bowls.
I can tell you this, they're not the best team in Florida.
The Bucs?
No, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's better than them.
Okay.
But put Jacksonville in the AFC East. We'll see how that goes.
Pick Six Podcast, the guys break it down Sunday nights. That'll include, of course, the Sunday morning game. It's Will Brinson, Ryan Wilson, and John Breach. Scan the QR code there and check out the Pick Six Podcast. They'll have you covered with a fresh pod later tonight.